This is Coach Lee, and you're listening to the Dore Report.
Welcome back into the Dore Report, and welcome into episode 376 on a hot but lovely Monday evening, July 20th, 2026. I'm Will Byram, joined as always by my co-host, Trevor Hewlin, aka Hacksquat, Jim Duggan, and joining us here early is our producer, Phoebe, right in the middle of the table. TDR is still seeking a presenting sponsor, so if you're interested in becoming the presenting sponsor of the Dore Report podcast, please reach out to doreport@gmail.com. Big Monday.
Yes, very big.
Big Monday for TDR. Big news for Vanderbilt basketball. SEC Media Days going on. This is a weird episode. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. This feels like a guest that's going to be joining in segment 2. This feels like a TDR Tidbits episode.
Yes.
From George Barclay. If you have been subscribed or reading thedoreport.com, George Barclay has put together an incredible recurring article series weekly called TDR Tidbits, which initially was just supposed to be kind of the random Vanderbilt involved stories throughout the summer, and it's turned into a beefy weekly read with all the NCAA lawsuits and everything. But that's what this episode feels like. A lot of things going on in a lot of directions, but we're not quite to fall camp yet. We're not quite to discussing fall camp storylines. Actually, I think next episode is going to be fall camp storylines.
I believe so. Yeah.
We think so. So still waiting on the official release of the Vanderbilt football fall camp schedule, but we believe that next week is going to be the football fall camp storyline. So everything beyond episode 376 is going to be football focused. That's what we're going to be talking about. And I'm not sure if it's going to be next episode or the one after that, but we will have a very special guest joining TDR to talk about some future content involving the Dore Report coming soon to football season. So that is one of the eyeball emojis that has been seen recently. But the reason today has been a lot for me and why my brain is a little bit scattered, and a big day for TDR. It's a great day for TDR, a great day for Vanderbilt fans. The Dore Report has officially announced a partnership with West End Sports Partners. Tweeted that out officially this morning. There's an article up on thedoreport.com about what that entails. But I also have something written down here that I was just going to go off the cuff, but we're going to go off, reading what I've written down to make sure that I get across, because this has been a long time coming, something me and Trevor are incredibly excited about with football season coming up, and the value for the Dore Report subscribers just keeps going up.
Yeah, through the roof.
But with Vandy's success of late, there's been a lot of eyeballs on everything Vanderbilt. And while we're on the topic of eyeballs, many of you have noticed a few more in the last few days, maybe over the last week or so, maybe a little bit before that. There's been a lot of eyeballs tweeted out, a lot of questions about those eyeballs. By now, most know that the eyeballs foreshadow something big coming. And there's a few consistent sourced eyeballs. So with that, here's what's been brewing, just like what I announced today. Today, we are officially announcing a partnership between the Dore Report and West End Sports Partners. Me and Trevor have spent a lot of quality time getting to know Paul over at West End. And one thing has become clear pretty quickly. We share the same goal. We both want to create a better experience for Vanderbilt fans while helping support the student athletes who represent this university. West End is a third-party fan engagement, sports marketing, and NIL company that connects Vanderbilt fans, businesses, and student athletes through memberships, exclusive experiences, licensed merchandise, original content, and authentic brand partnerships. That makes this a natural fit. Beginning this season, qualifying West End members will include an annual membership of the Dore Report, so an annual premium membership to the Dore Report for qualifying West End sports members. But that's really just the beginning. You also see us collaborating on exclusive interviews, behind-the-scenes content, live events, athlete features, and some ideas we've been kicking around that we think Vanderbilt fans are really going to enjoy. Just constant kicking around ideas.
Yes.
all
This
it
is just Will and I just at bed at night, just being like, dude, what about this? What about this?
One thing we especially appreciate in Weston's approach, it is not a collective. Their focus is creating legitimate commercial opportunities for Vanderbilt student athletes through real businesses, real marketing campaigns, and real deliverables. A Weston membership brings access to things like exclusive behind-the-scenes recruiting content, pop-up socials featuring athlete partners, early access and discounts to its merch line. You got to check this out. This is some of the ideas that have been kicked around too. And a few signature events. One that we're excited about and you'll hear more about soon is called the Kill Confidential. That's one we are very excited about over here. We're excited about where this is headed, and we're excited to build it together. Visit westendsportspartners.com, and like many of you have done, find them on socials to learn more. Now it's time to talk some Vanderbilt sports. But
oh man,
we are excited.
Chills down my spine.
Yeah, it is. There's going to be more and more information coming out soon. This is just the initial release. It's going to be fun.
Yeah,
that's what we will just stick with. It's going to be a fun time for Vanderbilt fans.
It is maybe the best time. Not maybe. It is the best time ever to be a Vanderbilt fan. You're going through the golden age of Vanderbilt right now. It's only going to get better.
The revolution was always going to be televised.
And it will continue to be televised, and it will be televised long after we're all gone.
So here we go into actual episode 376. I already talked about a little bit what we will discuss with football. Not a ton, but SEC Media Days did start today. Vanderbilt, of course, is taking the podium tomorrow/today when you're listening to this. I'll give my thoughts on SEC Media Days. Trevor will as well. Then we have some real news on the men's basketball front with Gabe Nesmith reclassifying, summer league updates from the Commodores participating. And then I think we talked plenty of baseball last episode.
Yeah, talked a lot of baseball.
Yeah, so if you haven't gotten your baseball fix, go listen to episode 375 again. After the TDR Cocktail Break, we are going to be joined by TDR's alleged attorneys, both Blake Fromang and George Barclay. They will be discussing all of the recent NCAA court legal kerfuffle, everything associated with it. I just want to say the 5 for 5, but it's so much more than that. There's so much going on. And George has been doing an incredible job writing about that. George and Blake are going to help us navigate those waters, as well as just give their insights into Vanderbilt athletics. So,
yeah. Before we get to that interview, and while the listeners are early on into this episode, over under how many minutes is going to take for Blake to make a remark that's been a year since he's been on TDR? I'll set the line at 2.5 minutes. Over or under?
Under. I think it might be in his opening line.
Okay. Well, updated line. 45 seconds.
Of his appearance or when he begins speaking?
When he begins speaking.
Under.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
So, Trevor, all of that, what's the vibe check?
It is impossible to separate my personal life from my life involving Vanderbilt athletics, because as if they weren't more intertwined beforehand, it's impossible to separate me and Vanderbilt athletics. But whenever we look at my personal life, I saw the Odyssey 70 millimeter this morning at 7 a.m. Film of the century, film of the 21st century. I'm declaring it right now. Christopher Nolan's best work, best film this century. Christopher Nolan has officially cemented himself as the greatest director of all time. Please go see the Odyssey in 70 millimeter. That's been going on. I love what's going on in Vanderbilt athletics. We continue to be skyrocketing. That ship that Nick Zeppo said he'd build James Franklin, Daniel Diermeyer and Candace Story Lee built that for Clark Lee and Company. We're going to the moon, baby. 10 out of 10 vibes for the Doors.
Highest vibe check of all time.
I don't think you can get higher than a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 vibe check. Huge day for TDR. The vibes are high. Football is right around the freaking corner. I cannot wait for fall camp. Trevor, when you're able to attend, I know you cannot wait for fall camp either.
No, yes. And like I said, I checked with my school schedule. I'll be able to make way more fall camps than I thought. It should be like last year, to where at least one TDR member should be in attendance for every single fall camp.
Mine is different this year. I will be at
Yeah.
I am planning on I will be at every single fall camp practice this year. So last year I was at a good amount, and one of us was at every single one.
I was at every single fall camp last year. So now it's your turn.
this year I am planning on being at every single one, barring some day job work emergency. But we have a ton to get to here on episode 376. Before we get into all that and much more, we are a part of the On3 Publisher Network. Visit thedoreport.com today and subscribe to a monthly or annual premium membership and support TDR for access to premium content, as well as our premium message board behind closed doors. Today, you can join for just $1 for your first 5 days and get your first year of premium membership for 50% off, plus a complimentary year of The Athletic. This is the time to subscribe to thedoreport.com. The announcement today is all you need to know. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Dore Report. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our podcast is available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and Google Podcasts. And while you're at it, give our podcast 5 stars and a review on iTunes or Spotify. It's now time for segment 1. Welcome back into the Dore Report, and welcome back into episode 376. Welcome into segment 1. Starting off, football time. Fall camp starting soon.
Hashtag soon.
Hashtag soon. Don't have an exact date. Main news out of football is the Jared Curtis Nike deal.
Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it, man?
Let me pull up. I should have pulled this up before. Who were the players that were announced as part of this class?
Jared Curtis, I believe Dante Moore, Green from LSU, Kewan Lacey. I think maybe
Why is
Trinidad
it so
Chambliss
hard
as
to
well.
just find a list? Everything's trying to be cool and cool looking. Just give me the list.
I think and then obviously
Trinidad Chambliss,
Okay, so-
Cam Coleman from
Okay.
Texas.
Dante Moore should be on there. I believe Kewan.
Okay, here it is. Finally
Okay.
found the list. Trinidad Chambliss from Ole Miss, Cam Coleman from Texas, Jared Curtis from Vanderbilt, Trades Green from LSU, Chris Henry Jr. from Ohio State, Kewan Lacey from Ole Miss, Dante Moore from Oregon, and Colin Simmons from Texas are now on Nike's NIL roster.
I was pretty close.
Big time.
Oh, and of course, we got to make the mention. Local sophomore Cobbins, Jermaine Cobbins out of Springfield High School. All my Robco boys stand up. Youngest athlete ever to be signed to a Nike deal. 5-star cornerback class of 2028, very high on Vanderbilt's board. Is Vanderbilt high on his board? I'm hearing they are, ladies and gents. I'm hearing they are. So, also big news.
And there's also an announcement coming early tomorrow morning
Yes.
as well,
Yes.
which that will be announced by the time most people are listening to this. But
Yeah.
there is an announcement coming. We've been asked not to share exactly what, but exciting announcement, not related to the Dore Report directly.
No.
Anything else I'm missing in football? Because it's going to be a lot of football, but right now, and I really want to talk about football, but
well, I did just order Phil Steele's College Football Magazine for the 26th season. So that'll be coming to, I was about to give our address to our listeners. If you actually want our address, you can just DM us and we'll just have you over. We have an open door policy here at the Dore Report HQ. Whenever you walk in, the first room is going to be Miller's. Don't go in there. Just keep going up the stairs. You'll go into our living room. We'll feed you, cook for you, or feed you, clean you.
what the fuck are you talking?
And then we'll take you to the 3rd floor. That's where the party's at. That's where me and Will's bedroom are. And then there's a spare bedroom. Me and Will share a bedroom.
Obviously. Yeah, that's all for football, I guess. Except Trevor, which we will be discussing in segment 2, has ordered a new jersey for the upcoming season. Not James L. Lassiter.
That's already in my closet. I'm looking at that like Agamemnon in his full suit of armor, dude. The Odyssey bangs.
But there's another jersey coming.
Uh,
A number 66, some could say.
Who, not current athlete, but who historically has worn 66 for the Vanderbilt Commodores?
A legend, some could say.
Former tight end great.
We will be discussing that in segment 2.
Okay.
I'm ready to see his reaction. So that is it for football. Next week, it's all going to be football. I just keep saying that so people are prepared for how little we're going to be discussing other sports moving forward. I think you've gotten used to us really talking everything.
Yeah.
It's almost football mode.
So let's just remind people, because we did this, we went through this last year. Next week, guys, we will not be answering questions about Vanderbilt baseball.
No.
Just, I remember last year there was people who wanted to talk about baseball. We're like, we're not.
We talked about it all summer.
It's
We answered every question.
guys, we love you and we respect your questions and we thank you for being on Behind Closed Doors. We will not be answering baseball questions.
Shifting to football mode.
So
next
I just
week.
want to get that out there now, because somebody is going to, like last year, somebody's going to ask a baseball question and we are going to read it on the pod and be like, we are not answering this.
We are, yeah. So regardless, I'm officially deciding now, regardless of what the fall camp schedule ends up being officially announced, the start date next week will be the fall camp storylines episode.
Yeah.
It's time to do that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Boys, we're itching.
So need everyone to have, you've got 6 days, 5 days or so before I open up the message. Just get that in your heads, process it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not being mean. We're giving you plenty of warning. We're not going to be answering baseball questions. Okay, next up is basketball. And there is news on the basketball front. Gabe Nesmith, cousin of Aaron Nesmith, top 20 recruit in the class of 2027, has reclassified to the class of 2026, a 6'5" small forward, 175 pounds, filling the final roster spot on the 2026-2027 Vanderbilt Commodore basketball roster. We knew this one was coming.
We did.
Didn't say it fully, but kind of were like, don't worry about the last roster spot. They're not just going to leave that one with no one. So how do you feel about that? Because I feel like we're going to see more of that. It's interesting. I feel like we're seeing a shift in more reclassifications early. And I'm trying to think of a reason why that is outside of guys trying to get to the money a little faster.
Yeah. Well, I think it could be maybe just too with the transfer portal. If you're offered a spot to play like immediately, do you want to go ahead and take that or risk it being up for grabs because it came down to you and, I don't know, let's say an All-American who's in the portal? Like, do you want to risk that? But yeah, first off, I want to say, guys, y'all, the last roster spot, what's going to happen? I'm worried. We were like, guys, chill out. Big Daddy Will and Trev, we're telling you, chill out. Calm. Hush, little baby, don't you cry. My voice just gave out right there. But we were telling y'all to chill out, and y'all didn't want to believe us. We don't lie to you guys. With that being said, I absolutely love this. I think he's going to get meaningful minutes immediately for Vanderbilt. He's not going to be a starter, and I did look at the board earlier. I know somebody asked a question about this. I think he's going to be one of those top 8 guys that gets significant minutes, like immediately for this team. I love this. Mark Byington continues to cook. Coach Justice, Coach Terry continue to absolutely fry and flambe the competition. I love it.
As far as filling that last roster spot at this point, this is as quality of a player as you can kind of expect to possibly get at this point. Mark Byington continues to cook. We will have plenty of time to talk about this basketball roster construction, but my initial take broadly, and I just want to get this out there early and it might be controversial. My initial take on this basketball roster, I like it.
Can I give you my initial take, my initial hot take? And I'm going to go ahead and say this. I know it's early. I know it's a hot take. This is an Elite 8 basketball team.
I was going to say the same thing.
Okay. All right. Then it's not a hot take. I'll go Final Four then.
That is a very, I think Elite 8 is a hot take, but that's also my hot take. This is a team, you have a few moments every now and then where the stars align in a lot of ways, and you have to capitalize. This team's expectations this upcoming season, I know it might not be extremely fair with the nature of the NCAA tournament, but this is a team that should be able to make an Elite 8. They have the talent they have the talent level of a top 10 team.
They do.
Now, how that all comes together and gels, that's where the talent level is. We have not said that about a Vanderbilt basketball team in
over 15 years.
I mean, I think there were some inklings during the Garland, Shitu, Nesmith class that it was there, and then maybe prior to that 2012 season. Like that's about it that I can think of.
And also, too, just in terms of like getting to, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but just in terms of getting to the Elite 8, a deep postseason run, first is getting a favorable matchup in terms of seeding. that goes into the regular season schedule. I think this basketball team has a very, very, very favorable regular season schedule, not just in non-con, but I think also in conference play. So I'm with you in your remark that just sometimes the stars just align. And it's early, but this feels like one of those times where the stars might have aligned for Vanderbilt basketball.
And oftentimes when the stars align, things don't work out great.
Of course.
That's how it happens. But last year with football was one of those times. We talked about it before, and we were actually pretty reasonable saying you just can't suck. You've got some momentum going. You got to show that this is sustainable, and football blew the expectations out of the water. Basketball, it's going to be really impossible to blow the expectations out of the water. But this team is the most talented team Mark Byington has had, bar none, not even close. So,
yeah.
Next up, Summer League. Still 8 former Vanderbilt Commodores participating in the NBA Summer League. I'm not going to do a full stat breakdown like I did last time, but those guys, just as a reminder, are Tyler Nickel with the New York Knicks, A.K. Okereke with the Lakers, Chris Mannion with the Lakers, Devin McLaughlin with the Timberwolves, A.J. Hogard with the Raptors, Jalen Washington with the Bulls, Liam Robbins with the Knicks, and Duke Miles with the 76ers. Tyler Nickel still performing really well.
He's going to mess around and find himself on the Knicks roster if he keeps at this pace.
And Duke Miles, I do want to point out, had a couple good scoring games in his last couple games. On the 15th against the Magic, put up 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. And on the 18th against the Bucks, also put up 9 points. Nickel has put up 9, 9, and 9 in his last 3 games. A.K. Okereke has put up 11 points, 5 points, and 8 points in his last 3 games. Liam Robbins has actually been on a tear since we last recorded. 15 points, 13 points, 14 points with 5, 9, and 4 rebounds respectively, and 4 blocks, and 1 block in those games. So as you would expect, a guy that's more veteran in that size, Liam Robbins is a legit like rotational NBA up and down to the G League kind of guy at this point. Jalen Washington has actually participated in a couple games, a couple points in each against the Lakers and the Cavs. And then Chris Mannion, definitely one of the more established guys in Summer League, even more so than Liam Robbins, has just continued to play extremely well in Summer League. The last 3 games against the Clippers put up a double-double, 17 points and 11 rebounds, then 16.6 rebounds, then another 10 points and 7 rebounds against the Warriors on the 18th. So all the Commodores overall performing pretty well in Summer League, specifically Chris Mannion, Tyler Nickel, and Liam Robbins in the last few games. So that is your Commodores in the Summer League update. Trevor, have you actually been watching any of the Summer League?
I've been watching Tyler Nickel with the Knicks. Also, too, like I said, I've mentioned him on the pod. One of my best friends, Andy, is a diehard Knicks fan, so he also keeps me really, really updated. I don't find myself staying up late enough to watch the Lakers.
No, I used to love NBA Summer League, and much like most of the NBA, I don't know what has happened. I am the prime example that maybe I'm just out of touch of, like, I loved the NBA. That rivaled the NFL. Like, it was up there the same way, and something about it is lost now. Maybe I'm just talking about nothing. But I couldn't imagine how little I've watched of the Summer League outside of Vanderbilt Commodores specifically. I just don't care overall. I'm only watching for Vanderbilt players. I'm not watching for the broader scale of the NBA like I used to.
Well, I'll say this and then we can go on because this isn't Vanderbilt related. But funny enough, I don't know how much stock you put into ratings. Obviously, whenever it comes to ratings, the number 1 sport in America is the NFL. Do you know what number 2 is?
It's college football.
In terms of professional.
NBA.
Baseball. Baseball has overtaken last year and in this current year. Major League Baseball has overtaken the NBA. The NBA is sitting solidly at number 3 in America.
Wow. NBA is in trouble because you're exiting the LeBron era and how the NBA has marketed themselves, unlike the NFL that has specifically not done this. They've leaned into stars, but the NFL has, to a fault, like they're a team oriented how they market, and they do have stars they market like Mahomes and Brady, but it's interchangeable pieces. The NBA has always tied themselves to the stars of the league. And right now your biggest name by miles and miles and miles is 40 years old and not currently on a team and truly not an impact player anymore. Still great, LeBron James, but he's aging out of the league. Who is going to be the guy that takes over? They wanted to be Wembanyama so bad.
But after that finals, you found out that he's like kind of a divisive character.
But it's really tough when you're banking on a guy that was not born in the United States to be your future and relate and draw in the American fan base. That's just tough. Nothing against Wembanyama. He's an alien. He's incredible to watch play. But does he have the star power of a Michael Jordan or LeBron James? Does he have that marketability of those guys? I don't know.
It was going to be Ja until he got into a lot of legal trouble. It was shaping up to be like he was going to like him and Ant. But then
they really needed so badly Jason Tatum not to tear his Achilles. They really needed that Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum combo to be a dynasty in a way. I think that they were praying they could get the Lakers-Celtics rivalry back with Luka and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, have marketable stars in that way, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, just because it's a big market. Well, this seems like such a cop-out answer, but it looks like Jalen Brunson might be the
But it's like, that's my problem. It's not that they can't have another, but people forget the NBA was struggling for a good period of time. And it's like, it's no offense to him. He's awesome to watch. The finals was awesome, but it's like Jalen Brunson is not the guy you can build a league around. It's no offense to Jalen Brunson.
He's a
awesome.
5'10". He's
just not he's not a global superstar, and that's what they're searching for. Jason Tatum, honestly, he had it right. He's just not that guy. And I'm a Celtics fan.
He's a weirdo.
He's just not that guy. You have to be so unique to be a guy that you can do. Like, just envision a guy you can do a Space Jam 3 around. Who is that in the NBA right now? They're struggling. I don't know what it is. So hopefully they can find a rivalry and draw everyone back in. That's way too much into the NBA. There's Vandy women's basketball to talk about. Olivia Jones, future women's basketball star. I'll just say it. Future star on the court for the women, and Shea Ralph helped secure a Team USA gold in the FIBA U17 Women's World Cup. Brian Carlson wrote an article on that is available on the DoreReport.com.
How much FIBA did you watch?
Dude, I mean, it's actually Colin Bryant wrote that article, not Brian Carlson. No, Brian Carlson wrote another article today about Gabe Nesmith's reclassification. That's
Colin's gonna beat your ass.
I deserve it.
I can't wait to look at the TDR baseball group chat in the morning.
It's gonna be immediate. I own my mistake, and I'm sorry, Colin. I'm sorry.
That just needs to be a running, like a reoccurring bit in TDR. Sorry, Colin. Like you're that guy now.
Just writes incredible content. Just disrespected.
Just breaks his back for TDR and just, I don't know, man. I love that guy though.
Anything else on the basketball front?
No, I'm really actually looking forward to interrogating Blake.
We are inching closer. Like I said, baseball. Last week, episode 375 was literally called Baseball Bonanza. So if you're looking for baseball talk, Alex and Colin broke down everything relating to Vanderbilt baseball, how the MLB Draft broke down, and you can listen to Colin complain about me being the worst podcast host in America.
I was so hoping for you to say, yeah, Alex and Brian did a great job, man. Yeah, man, Brian was really upset at me for skipping him whenever it comes to his Hardee's order that he doesn't eat.
I know that didn't translate as well to like a clip to post on social media. That was one of the hardest I've ever laughed during an episode of TDR was the build up to that, and then him saying, "Well, actually, I've never had Hardee's."
Yeah. All right, Colin. All right, Colin. What's your breakfast order? Well, I don't actually eat breakfast. I just have a protein shake and get on with my way.
Try to strangle him through the screen. All right, so no baseball this week. There was a decommit. A pitcher, right? That decommitted from Vanderbilt, committed to Wake Forest. I can't remember his name. It's slipping my mind. Shit.
We've had a long day, guys. It has slipped my mind as well. Who is this guy?
Dun dun dun.
Tronkson or Tronkel?
That's not right. Okay, you're failing me, Google. Maybe we're the people that are supposed to write articles on this, so that's why there's not an article about it.
Yeah. Well,
all right. We'll get on that.
Hey, guys, just give us we're not professionals here.
We're just doing our best. All right.
It's just like if we gave you guys a mic and said, just talk about Vanderbilt.
No, it's not.
It's the same thing.
All right. Next up, we are about to head to the TDR Cocktail Break. On the flip side, we are going to be joined by TDR's alleged attorneys, George Barclay and Blake Fromang. So everybody out there, grab yourself a delicious hot or cold beverage, and we will be right back after the TDR Cocktail Break.
I'm not drunk, I promise. But
welcome back into the Dore Report, and welcome back into episode 376. Welcome back from the TDR Cocktail Break. We are now joined by TDR's alleged attorneys, Blake Fromang, George, Boston George, Barclay. Blake, George, thank you for taking the time to join an electric episode 376 of the Dore Report.
Trevor, why are you looking at me crazy?
one at a time, gentlemen.
One at a time,
One
fellas.
Time. There's enough
Blake.
for me to go around.
Blake, actually, George, you go first because I know Blake's going to have some interesting things to say about Trevor. So, Blake, thank you for taking the time today. George, how you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. Glad to be on here.
There we go. What a nice response from George. Blake,
Yeah.
how are you feeling today?
Fix your face, Trevor. Put your tongue back in your mouth.
Dude, I just can't help myself when I see you and George, dude. I get a little tingly, dude. It's so
I'm
good
good.
to see you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for having me back. Shadow ban's finally been lifted. Happy about that. I guess you guys are happy about inviting me back on. It's been like a year. Basketball team did great. How about landing Jared Curtis? That was some big news. Baseball team, some ups and some downs there. I mean, we've had wars start and stop since the last time I've been on. So it's been a while, but I appreciate it.
We're so happy to have you back on, Blake.
Yes, we are so incredibly
There was
happy.
a gambling line around what your opening statement would be.
Yes.
And I'm happy to say you hit the under.
Yeah, we cashed.
We cashed.
We
So
cashed.
You can know what that means
Yeah.
tomorrow, but you hit the under.
So you actually owe us money now.
No,
Yes. Yes.
Legally.
no, not legally, illegally,
So George-
paralegally. No.
Hearsay.
George allegedly represents us. George, sue his ass for us. Lawyer on lawyer violence. Get pro bonoed, Blake. Get Judas Prudist.
Welcome to the show. We got some ad reads we need to get to before we continue this dynamic segment 2. First up, one of the supporting sponsors that has now been on board for almost a month now, A New Leaf Counseling and Consulting. Vandy Nation, Blake, George, Trevor. We've survived the Stackhouse. And Blake really survived the Mason. Our mental health has taken a beating.
It has.
When life gets tough, don't turn to AI for support. Turn to Coleman Thompson and the licensed professionals at A New Leaf Counseling and Consulting. You can learn more or schedule an appointment at www.anewleafcounseling.net. What an incredible podcast ad read for this moment right now. Next up, people know what's coming up. Rowback Activewear. There is only one way to describe Rowback. Best fit, best feel. For those who aren't familiar with Rowback, they are completely changing the game with their incredibly comfortable activewear. Blake, are you familiar with Rowback?
Yeah, I have a rowback polo. I love it.
George, you familiar with Rowback?
Absolutely. I got to get my billable hours up so I can get me some of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you aren't familiar, they're completely changing the game with their incredibly comfortable activewear. Rowback has released so many new items within their newly licensed game day collection, and it's our favorite. With novel polo designs and clean hoodie and quarter zip designs for some of your favorite schools, it's definitely worth checking out. Nobody else in the market is pairing these levels of custom designs with this quality of activewear. Rowback's everyday shorts or their Delta performance pants are the perfect pairing as well. They are both super comfortable, have an elastic waistband, and great fabric that is made to have the appearance of a nice short look, but the comfort for a day on the move. Rowback has also been proudly leading the NIL charge, having signed partnerships with multiple college football stars, both past and present, and are becoming the go-to brand for college athletes across the country. You can use code VAN20, that is VAN20, all capital letters, no spaces, on rowback.com for a generous 20% off for all new customers. That's spelled Rowback, RHOBACK.com. That's 20% off all performance polos, shorts, and more with code VAN20. Last but not least, we got the NIL store. Stop making eyes at Blake over there.
Dude, every time he's on this damn podcast, I just like look at him and I can't help but smile, dude. I love this guy.
Final ad read, then we can get into it. NIL store. Visit nil.store/Dore Report 15. Use code Dore Report 15, all capital letters, no spaces at checkout for 15% off your entire order. Gear from Jared Curtis, Chandler Bing, Tyler Tanner, all your favorite Vanderbilt athletes. Check it out at nil.store/Dore Report 15. All right, fellas, it's time to get into it.
Speaking of getting jerseys from your favorite college athletes,
Let's discuss this early.
Blake,
Blake,
am I the first fan, not family member, but fan, to ever wear a 66 Blake Fromang jersey?
My wife is family.
yeah, that is family.
That's family.
That's
Yeah.
family. Yeah. I'll say that.
How does that make you feel that I'm the first?
I'm a little upset. I didn't get any remuneration from you getting my NIL jersey. That's just going straight overseas. I mean, you're like what the tariffs are exactly pointed towards, is stopping materials coming from overseas in. So I hope they tariff you $100,000 for that.
Blake, also, how does it feel, dude? Just like 15 years ago, dude, I was just a wee little lad at the Star Walk. Every home game, just being like, giving you high fives, pumping you up to go out and just wage war, dude. And now you're on my proverbial Star Walk.
You were giving everyone high fives before the Temple game. That might be why we lost.
Actually, I was stuck in Magoogan because there was a thunderstorm.
So you were who blew up the toilets in there. That was you.
Could have been.
Dude,
That was the real thunderstorm that night.
that's for me to know and you to wonder, brother.
Well, we have an incredible segment two ahead, if you can't tell already. But Blake and George specifically are here to discuss a lot of things, but specifically one thing, and that is the chaos around the NCAA and the current legal battles around the 5-for-5 legislation, around all the lawsuits going on. I'm not good at explaining it. That's why we have the experts here in their suit and ties. That's how you know they know what they're talking about. Look how well they're dressed.
Yeah.
We have Saul Goodman up at the top.
Yes.
So, George, I think you were going to give us a nice summary of what has been going on as of recent. If you want the full detailed breakdown, George has been writing about this all summer and also keeping up with it and starting threads on the Behind Closed Doors message board. So you can visit thedoreport.com for the real nitty-gritty breakdown George has been doing with the play-by-play. But, George, what the hell is going on?
So I'd like to set the stage here before Blake and I get into it. What Blake and I had talked about before going on the podcast tonight was doing a little sort of simulation of what some of these arguments sound like in real time in court between the players' attorneys and the NCAA. But before we get into that, just so that everybody can understand what we're going to be talking about, I wanted to just set the stage with this rule. So before this spring, the NCAA's rule was known as the 4 seasons rule, where you only had 4 seasons of eligibility and you had a 5-year window to get those 4 seasons in. Because of successful lawsuits like Diego Pavia and Trinidad Chambliss, the NCAA was starting to consider making some changes. And they brought a proposal to the Division I cabinet, and that proposal eventually became what is now the 5-for-5 rule. The 5-for-5 rule is that all athletes in college get a window of 5 years of eligibility, beginning from when they first enroll in a full-time college or the academic year after their 19th birthday, whichever one of those comes first. Now, a bunch of the current lawsuits have been from a group of players who are in the high school class of 2022. And why is that important? It is because they, technically speaking, have 1 year left in their 5-year window. Now, the NCAA, after facing some questions and some pressure from some players, decided not to grandfather these players in to the new rule. And because of that, there have been a series of lawsuits filed in both state and federal court around the country by players in this high school class who want that extra year of eligibility. And the NCAA is saying that they're ineligible under the new rule. Now, where this gets a little interesting is before this new rule was enacted, the old rules were still in effect. And while the old rules were still in effect, those rules included what is called the NCAA eligibility waiver process. And that is when players submit eligibility paperwork to their respective schools. Now, once a player submits the paperwork, it's up to the school to submit it to the NCAA on the player's behalf. And where this gets interesting is while the new rule was being contemplated and under review by the Division I cabinet, you had players applying for waivers, but their waiver applications were never processed. Some were canceled by the NCAA. And then the NCAA was also sending messages that they were going to sanction some member schools if they did submit the paperwork. So that is basically the stage of how we got to these lawsuits. And what Blake and I thought would be fun is I will make some arguments to you guys on behalf of what the players are saying in these lawsuits. Blake is going to counter those with the NCAA. And then Will and Trevor, you guys can decide who you agree with more. And our listeners, maybe we can take a poll as to who we thought made the better set of arguments. We thought that'd be a little bit more engaging and fun than just breaking down an opinion, which can get kind of boring and long-winded. So
I like this poll idea of
Yes.
pitting Blake against George.
Yeah.
I like this a lot.
Yeah. Can I get this order sua sponte by chance? You know what that means?
No,
You don't know what that means.
no, you can't. You're just saying things.
Sounds like perjury to me.
It's not perjury.
Oh,
All right. So, which one of you clowns wants to be the chief judge?
That sounds to me personally,
why don't you be Neil Gorsuch?
Chief Judge. I think that should be Trevor Hewlin, should be Chief Judge. You give me some Ruth Bader Ginsburg vibes. So I'll be Justice Scalia. You be Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We'll have an uncommon friendship here.
all right.
Okay. Blake. Oh, I guess it's Trevor. So you're presiding over this.
Okay,
so,
So
just
Trevor,
okay.
Trevor, say
court is
it's-
adjourned.
I got you. Say it's your motion. Council proceed.
Your motion, counsel, proceed.
Your Honor, counter to what the NCAA is going to say when it's their turn to make their set of arguments, these players are not asking the NCAA to tear up its rule book. In fact, they're asking to apply it by its very letters that are not my client's words, Your Honor. They're not somebody else's. They're the NCAA's own words. Those words in this 5-year eligibility rule are 5 seasons in a 5-year window. This court, my clients are members of the class of 2022 of high school. They have 1 year remaining in their 5-year window. All of them went straight to college out of high school. They didn't play overseas and seek eligibility like some other plaintiffs in these cases that the NCAA has granted waivers to. All of them have entered college when they were supposed to and are seeking that extra year. And the NCAA, Your Honor, is obligated to give it to them under their new rule. These athletes have 1 year remaining under the member agreements, Your Honor, that these schools have with the NCAA. Those are predicated on what is called fair competition. But instead, what we have, Your Honor, is a situation where the NCAA is not only failing to follow its own rules, but failing to apply them consistently. Your Honor, several years before my clients filed this lawsuit, You had COVID waivers given to the classes of 2017, 2018, 2019, and even 2020. And now with the 5-year eligibility rule, that rule kicks in for the class of 2023 and beyond. By some unknown reason, Your Honor, and the NCAA has yet to come up with a logical reason why, my clients have been excluded from this rule, even though they still have 1 season remaining. If they don't get that extra year, Your Honor, that is a loss of an irreplaceable opportunity to earn NIL, to compete at the highest collegiate level, as the NCAA is the best collegiate association in this country, and they will be irreparably harmed. Counter to what the NCAA is going to say, Your Honor, chaos would not result if my clients were to win. These games would still go on as scheduled. The best players would get to play. All my clients are asking for, Your Honor, is the chance to be eligible to play. Counter to what the NCAA is going to say, Your Honor, eligibility is not a golden ticket to playing time. My clients know this. This court knows this. It's the best players who play. But what the NCAA cannot do, Your Honor, is gatekeep and apply its own rules inconsistently. Your Honor, allowing the NCAA to bar these players from playing would unfairly deny them of an opportunity to compete at the highest level and earn money for name, image, and likeness, which players are entitled to do as third-party beneficiaries of the member agreements between the NCAA and the very schools that make it up. And Your Honor, happy to yield the floor to the NCAA to make their case, and happy to respond once they do.
Good argument. NCAA, you may approach.
Your Honor, I'm already at the lectern.
Okay. NCAA, you may speak.
I know I didn't include it in my brief or any of my filings, but at this time, the NCAA moves to recuse, Your Honor, as having a conflict of interest in this case. I'm kidding. That's not what the NCAA did. And if you're listening to this, that should have been words number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 through infinity out of their mouth before they get into what I'm about to say. That aside, Your Honor, I think it's because I did not raise this argument. I'll make my other arguments.
Okay. Proceed, counsel.
Yes, may it please the court?
It shall.
As long as you're pleased.
I'm always pleased with you, big dog.
Yep. Your Honor, my name is Blake Fromang. I have the privilege of representing the NCAA here today. And really, there's 4 points I want to make. The first point is this, is the plaintiffs in this lawsuit, they received exactly what was promised to them. And what they received was what the rules were governed throughout their entire collegiate career. And what that is the 4-to-play-5 rule, 4 seasons of competition within a 5-year period. Each one of the plaintiffs, when they signed up and throughout their career, that's what was promised to them. That's what was guaranteed to them. And that's what was ultimately offered and accepted by them. And under the old framework, we met our burden of giving them the eligibility that they were due under the rules. So, you know, in terms of fairness, they received exactly what was promised to them the entire time. And what, you know, Your Honor heard was there is a new rule in effect, and we admit that there is. Offering 5-to-play-5 is we'll get into that, went through the legislative NCAA process with the board members. It was voted on. It passed just like any other rule passes. It wasn't squeezed through or anything, you know, wrong or untoward happened during that process. So that was implemented. But to circle back again, remember the benefit that was offered by the NCAA, the promise of 4 years to play, or 4 years to play through a 5-year period, was ultimately given. So what the plaintiffs seek here is an unprecedented retroactive benefit to which they're never entitled. Throughout their careers, they were done under the old rules playing. They're trying to get this new benefit that was never available to them or any other player. You know, throughout their collegiate careers here. So they're looking and trying to take what we're doing now and move it backwards, even though under the old rules, just like them and the athletes before them, minus obviously the COVID exceptions, they got the same exact 4 years to play within a 5-year window. And the last point I want to make is this, is, it's easy to underplay it. Really the logistics and how everything works in terms of, granting this. It's easy to say it's not going to disrupt anything or make any changes, but that is completely devoid of a real world view here. You see, the coaches in the sports, their recruiting calendars are year round, yes, but in terms of what we're going into here, basketball's already filled up their roster, football's filled up their roster, they've signed guys. Baseball is, I believe that season's over for recruiting. I'm not sure if it is or not. Again, I'm just an attorney, but where we're at here is the rosters are solidified on each team. Now, what ends up happening is, if Your Honor does grant this, it is going to disrupt a lot of things. One, we're going to have these kids who are eligible. They're going to be looking for a place to go. Coaches are going to have a very difficult decision because clearly you'd rather have more experienced players than freshmen. So some freshmen might get cut loose, or these guys may hang in limbo with nowhere to go. But regardless, that puts an unfair pressure to take spots away from kids who've earned the right to be there, who were recruited, and who committed to these schools and in these programs. Now, to circle back, and I think this is the most important point, is, the NCAA, in what it did with this case and with these players, completely fell inside the rules. And I keep hitting on this point, but it's important. The 4 to play 5 rule has long been the law of the land in the NCAA. It doesn't discriminate. It just is the rule. It's the black letter law of what we do. And that's what the rule was when these players completed their last season. And it was fair, and they got to do that. So with that, there's no need to go back and grant this injunction to allow these players an extra year when we've followed the standard protocols and procedures and made sure that they got exactly what they were promised when they signed up and throughout their careers. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Very good arguments. Question for counsel Barclay. If I was to grant this 5 for 5, according to Counsel Fromang, what is stopping players from 2016 from saying, "Hi, it's me again, Chase Garnham, Vanderbilt linebacker. I would like to play another year of football. Now this new rule, I get 5 years. I only got 4. What's stopping us from letting them in if I allow this rule?"
Your Honor, that's an excellent question, and it really speaks to the crux of my client's case. As we have discussed with this new rule, Your Honor, it is 5 years to play 5 seasons under the new rule. The reason that players from 2016 or 2017, 2018, 2019, 2021, you get the idea, Your Honor, are not able to step up is because their windows have closed. The windows of my clients have not. And under this new rule, that entitles them the ability to compete and earn name, image, and likeness money and maximize their last year of eligibility before it's exhausted. And that's all we're asking. And to the NCAA's point that they've applied the black letter law fairly of their rules, the black letter law speaks for itself, Your Honor. It's 5 seasons in a 5-year window. That window is still open for my clients, regardless of what the NCAA says.
Interesting.
How are you ruling, Your Honor?
Well, I would like to make a brief.
Okay.
Like-
Counsel Fromang, you may approach.
So if you look at the dates, the basketball players in this case, they finished up in March. This rule was not passed until April. So in terms of the 5-year complete eligibility window being an opportunity, that did not come to be until these players finished their collegiate career under the old rule. So it wasn't like the 5-for-5 was in place and they were just denied because we wanted to do that arbitrary and capriciously. We didn't do that at all. They finished their season, a new rule passed, and that's the crux of the NCAA's argument is, it wasn't in place when they completed their complete eligibility under the old rule. So applying it fairly, their motion should be denied.
I think I know my ruling.
Your Honor, if I may just have one brief opportunity to respond.
Go ahead, Counsel Barclay.
And I will rest, I promise, because the court has been very patient with both of us.
I am
prior to this new rule being enacted. There were several instances around this country where players submitted a waiver petition for a 5th year before the new rule was enacted. Under those rules, Your Honor, which the NCAA made itself as part of its membership agreements with all of its member institutions, the NCAA was obligated to process, review, and rule on those applications. That did not happen. So whether it's the old rules or the new rules that we're talking about, they're not only not being followed by the NCAA, but they're being applied inconsistently, no matter the framework, which I submit to this court is a bad faith violation of the membership contract that the NCAA has with all of its member schools. And I will rest there. Thank you, Your Honor.
You are welcome, Counsel Barclay. I believe I have my ruling. As a noted socialist, I do not like to side on that of the ruling class. Also, ultimately, my best judgment it comes with the Vanderbilt Commodores, and I think that a 5-for-5 rule will benefit the Dores. Therefore, I side in favor of the student athlete.
I have to supersede this and say that you were removed due to attorney Fromang.
He said parody. He said you can't remove me. I'm a Supreme Court justice. You can't remove me. I'm a Supreme Court justice. You can't remove me.
Jurisprudence.
I'll pro bono your ass.
On real opinion, so that was you kind of playing on each side. Take the personal feelings out of this, because I think there is like an aspect of this that is like, oh, well, that just sounds fair. So it's like, yeah, these players should, get the same ruling of 5-for-5. And we'll put a poll up and see what people think of those arguments. But like, there's a difference in what is fair and what there's legal precedent and how contractually that works. Like what Blake was arguing is the NCAA's side is this was never offered to them. The deal that was offered to them, the NCAA fulfilled fully, which was 4 years of competition and a 5-year window. That was the contract that was agreed to by both parties. So in your opinion, what is the right ruling ultimately? And I know it's unprecedented, so it's just kind of an opinion here. But we can start with George here and then go to Blake.
So I think when looking at these cases, I think Judge Wagner in the Ohio basketball case summed it up really well about how the NCAA has just applied its rules inconsistently and then has also not followed its own rules, which really hurts the NCAA's arguments in this case. I think that in terms of, Will, to your point, the contract law, in every contract, there's called something that's the covenant of good faith and fair dealing. It means that one contracting party can't intentionally deprive the other party of the fruits of that contract. And I think the NCAA has a couple of problems and big problems when it comes to this rule. Under the new rule, it's 5 years within a 5-year window. And for an unclear reason these players from the high school class of 2022 have just been excluded. And then not only that, while the old rules were still in effect, you had situations where players were submitting waiver applications, and the NCAA had this unspoken rule where they were just denying them, and then in some cases threatening the member schools with sanctions. And I think when you put all of that into the factual record, that under a lot of contract law that's in several states around this country, I think that's a big problem for the NCAA. And I think it really hurts their case. And then in terms of the inconsistent application of the rules, you had several instances in this college basketball season where you had players who had played overseas be granted eligibility and be in their early 20s and be granted a full 4 years of eligibility. That's not consistent with the 4 seasons in 5 years rule, or even under the new rule, the 5 years in a 5-year window. And guys like, James Najee, and then I forget the guy, I want to say London Johnson was, I think, his name on Louisville. I think examples like that really spoke to Judge Wagner and hurt the NCAA in that case where the players were able to get an injunction. So I think it's that combination of not following its own rules and then the inconsistent rule application that are just two huge problems for the NCAA in this case.
So George seems to be on the side of the players. Don't want to put words in your mouth, but Blake, what do you think?
I'll say what George said a little bit more boiled down. As I was making the arguments for the NCAA, the 4 to play 5 logic makes sense to me until you get to the point where they're tampering or not accepting waivers and messing with schools because, they're doing everything they can to stop the process. I guess what George was saying, they're not acting in good faith. In the 2022 class cutoff doesn't make sense on its face to me. I mean, you can say basketball season ended in March. We signed this in April. Guys, you've been talking about it. You've been putting breadcrumbs out for everyone to read. Everyone knows you're doing it. Why wait till that exact point other than to cut people off to pass it? So I'm on the side of the players. I think the NCAA, I've never seen people trip over themselves as much with the brain trust and the amount of resources they have to make arguments. They just do things that, it's tough for lawyers to argue because the decisions just put them in such a terrible spot to try to sound reasonable when you hear all the other stuff going on. And a judge is going to shrug and be like, guys, come on. And that's what Judge Wagner did. And he's like, there's a kernel of truth to what you're saying. Then what's all this other stuff going on? And Johnny Cochran can't argue out of that one, guys. I mean, it's you're as a lawyer, you're stuck with the facts, and it's just hard.
Yeah, that's as not a lawyer and a judge, but not a lawyer over here.
My girlfriend's a lawyer.
It is. That's what it feels like. Is
What are you laughing at?
there we go.
What are you laughing at? Come on, I'm calling you your fan. What are you laughing at?
I like her way more than you. I'm just thinking I made oral arguments to a guy with a mullet, a mustache, in a shirt that says bully on it.
It's a local band.
Couldn't even dress up for us. That's crazy.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I'll go.
Recuse yourself 3 times, not even twice. I want a triple recusal.
Dude, you can't recuse a Supreme Court justice. We know this.
But it seems like Blake and George have the kind of same opinion that the NCAA's painted themselves into a corner. And there's really just not a good way to argue your way out of where they've painted themselves. And ultimately, I think that I'll just ask this straight up. Ultimately, are your thoughts that the 2022 class is going to be ruled to allowed to be eligible for an additional year?
I think
You can-
in terms of
your way around it. If you
yeah,
want to.
in terms of these cases, there's a really interesting one in Colorado that is a federal case that, if the injunction is granted, could impact players in that group all across the country. And I think right now that one is the most important case. And what's really interesting about that case is, in addition to the extra year, one of the things that the high school class of 22 players are arguing is that the roster limits rules be relaxed just for this season. So that would be kind of a counter to the NCAA's arguments about, chaos and not enough room for a certain amount of players. I think Judge Wagner in his decision also did a good job of laying out how eligibility is not an automatic ticket to playing time. I mean, you guys know this from being sports fans for so long, and Blake from his playing days. Just because you're eligible is not a guarantee that you're going to play. There are plenty of guys who just ride the bench their entire NCAA careers. And, just because these players might win eligibility, it might not be a guaranteed roster spot for them. And at the end of the day, the best players are going to play. But I think it would not shock me if at least one other court ruled in favor of the players because of all these issues that Blake and I just mentioned.
Yeah, I asked that question a little too simplistically, but Blake, I'll also give you a final thought on this before we move into a lot of premium message board questions.
I know we got a lot of questions, so I'll concur with George. He said it best. I'd just be echoing everything he said, and you don't need to hear it twice over.
Perfect. Fellas, let's move into premium message board questions, because right now we have a lot. We are going to try to do a better job of this than I did last episode and swing these around fully. Poor Brian. Am I right?
Yeah.
Poor Brian.
It caught me off guard for a second.
Yeah. See, I was playing into the joke earlier, and Trevor
it caught
didn't pick
me.
it up.
It caught me off guard. I was like, "That's not who was on."
All right.
We should call Blake Colin.
There we go. Let's just confuse everyone.
No.
Blake is Colin. George, you're Alex tonight. How about that?
Perfect. First up, we're not doing that. But first up from the uncommon Dore, Trevor, I think we can just answer this one.
Okay.
For those who want to join in some tailgates this year, what do we need to do? Got my dad and brother season tickets this year and want to join in on the fun. You need to do nothing. You need to show up a lot too.
Show up in Vandy gear and you're in.
We will be tweeting out, of course, the location. It's always the same location.
Yeah.
And we will be tweeting out details and posting that across social media. But you need to show up.
That's all you need to do.
That's it. Next up maybe BYOB as well.
Yeah.
But food will be provided fully.
George has been to a Lot 2 tailgate multiple times.
Yes, I have. One of the best places in the world.
There we go, baby.
I love this guy.
Next up from World's Strongest Vandy Fan. Read this in your best voiceover voice. Previously on TDR, culturally insensitive Asian accents. Will is better than us because he runs at 5 a.m. Drones in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Fluid mechanics. Will Colin ever get to answer a question? And baseball. Then he goes on to say, I don't want to do that question, but I know we kind of have to. What's your starting projections for baseball next spring? Can we talk about that closer to the spring? I know World's Strongest Vandy Fan is doing that to piss us off, though. So I'm not going to allow it to piss us off. We are going to save that question because we have a lot more to get to. I only have so much baseball answering ability left in me. From Unabridged, I'm debating which jersey I should get for football season this year.
My type of question.
I'd prefer a non-senior so I can get multiple years out of supporting that player. Any recommendations? You can't go with the obvious in Curtis. You got to go somewhere. I'm thinking
Dante Carter.
There is one player who's not currently on the roster that I think they should get.
Okay.
I'm thinking we should start a revolution.
Okay.
Blake Fromang jerseys just speckled through.
Well, and he does have under this 5 to play 5.
I mean,
you technically would have another year of eligibility.
Yeah. I mean, let's get it started. I'm versatile too. You got lineman Blake if you need a triple XL. If you had a couple cheeseburgers too many, or if you want to go in my my slimmer year, go 87.
Yeah.
I say we go back to a tight end Blake Fromang jersey, an 87 Fromang.
That's real niche. Blake would be an awesome pick if you want current Commodores, not alumni with the possibility of returning. I think Dante Carter would be a really good pick. I think let's flip over to the offense. I think Evan Hampton might be
That's a value pick.
That's a value pick. I also think somebody like Micah DeBose. You want to rep the big boys. I think Micah DeBose would be a great
When
one.
he said the multiple years, that's for because there's so many good options that aren't multiple years that I can think of immediately. Like Lyndon Cooper is going to be a fan favorite.
Yes.
Just going to say that, the center from Pittsburgh. But I don't think he's a multiple year guy.
No. I'm going to go Dante Carter.
Yeah, Cole Spence would be an incredible choice as well. Just a glue guy throughout the years. There are a lot of good choices on this current Vanderbilt roster.
Bryson Coleman might be a sleeper.
Next up, from Adam Baum, 1987. Is it reasonable to place Final Four/national title expectations on basketball and Omaha/national title expectations on baseball? Obviously, baseball expectations are always set at the highest, as the GOAT has created this standard himself. However, with how Byington has performed above expectations each year and adding Nesmith, are we going to start putting bigger standards out there? Me and Trevor have answered questions so far, so I'm going to swing these to Blake and George about the basketball expectations this year. We'll start with Blake this time. What are your basketball expectations? Way too early.
Let's go championship. Fuck it.
Championship.
I love it.
This is the man that also predicted Vanderbilt to go 10-2 in football last year.
That is true.
And he was right. The haters, the detractors called him crazy.
That is true.
That we may be talking to actually the only man in recorded podcast across the entire internet that actually predicted Vanderbilt to go 10-2. I didn't see anyone else.
I don't think I saw anybody else either.
I got every game right too. Every single game right. I said
it actually I need to go back and summarize because, of course, we are going to have Blake on later in August again to do our annual, as long as Blake accepts, season preview and predictions with Blake Fromang. This will be year 3 now in a row, I believe. So,
Blake, will you accept?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
I love it.
Blake is the only man you need to listen to about the preseason predictions because the odds of that, there are a lot of podcasts out there. There are a lot of people that love having hot takes and having an out there take. Blake is one of one.
Yeah.
Actually thoroughly impressive. So Blake's calling championship for basketball. George, what are your expectations after the Nesmith reclassification?
I'm thinking Elite Eight, Final Four for this team. I really love how Byington's constructed this roster, specifically the bigs. I think with the bigs that Vandy now has between Big Turk, Dak, and Leverett, you've got guys that you can mix and match against all sorts of lineups. You can do them with speed lineups. You can do it with bigger lineups that are more physical. You can also have some athletic bigs out there who can spread the floor a little bit and shoot it if they need to. I really like that combination. And then a lot of just added athleticism to support Tyler Tanner. And now that you have Nesmith reclassifying, that's another wing that you throw into the fold who can attack the basket. And Vanderbilt has not had somebody at that position since Jeff Taylor. I'm going to Elite Eight, Final Four. I'm really getting excited about this basketball team.
And me and Trevor predicted kind of the same expectations as you, George. I was Elite Eight. Trevor shifted to Final Four. Blake with the championship level.
Okay.
So one thing there's a lot of positivity.
Various spectrums.
The one little negativity I want to add is I still think Vanderbilt is lacking a knockdown outside shooter on the wing. I still think if you plugged in, and I like Nesmith, if you plugged in a Tyler Nickel instead of a Nesmith, I would be thoroughly confident in that completely. But that is the one thing that I think this team could struggle with is they don't have a true shooter. And that's not been a lack on Byington teams in the past. So I think people might be overlooking that just because it's been so consistent having those shooters that can be frustrating. A team with a lot of athleticism, a lot of size, a superstar in Tyler Tanner, but they don't have that guy like Tyler Nickel that's just a come off the screen, quick shoot type of guy. And Vanderbilt's had that the last few years. They go on to ask a question. Adam Baum does also wonder if this is going to help / hurt the recruiting of Malachi Jordan. I think if anything help, that's a class of 2027 5-star. If anything, that frees up resources for the class of 2027. I don't know if it's directly anything, but just freeing up resources for the class of 2027. We got a ton of questions. I'm not trying to ignore these. And then with how Olivia Jones is performing, feels like women's basketball will have similar expectations as well. Feels like women's basketball is Final Four expectations to me. Any disagreement? There we go.
Okay.
Blake's all championship or bust. Next up, and we'll go around quickly on this one. Yeah, I heard the chuckle. 256 Dore. If you could cook one meal to impress the TDR listenership, what would it be?
Ooh.
Do you risk overcooking ribeyes or play it safe with spaghetti? We'll go around quickly. Start with Trevor.
I'm going to go lemon herb salmon with jasmine rice, asparagus.
Okay. Blake.
Going a little surf and turf. Got a ribeye, lobster tail, loaded baked potato.
Okay. George.
I'm going to go with some breakfast. Most important meal of the day. We got some French toast on challah bread. Got some fruit thrown in there, some bacon, maybe a little bit of eggs on the side.
Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Yeah, sure. People want it.
I love Dunkin'.
Toss it in there. I'm actually going with salmon as well, but mine's a Korean style salmon glaze. Okay. With a little bit of rice, a little bit of broccoli on the side.
Ooh, I'm not a broccoli guy.
That's what we're going with. Can be asparagus as well. Can be corn. You can toss on whatever side.
Okay.
This is when I said Boston George would be joining, so this is when the questions maybe become more specific. From Thank You Kumar. I think this might be a first question.
Yeah, first time, long time.
Number one, a few months back, y'all talked about your rankings of the 4 main sports and how the Dore's futures look in those. Anyone change their mind recently? I think baseball's shifted up, but
Not enough to where I'm willing to change.
I don't remember where I ranked them fully. I think women's basketball is 1.
I think it's women's basketball, men's basketball, football, baseball.
I think it's still the same, but I think you might be able to make an argument to swap baseball above football, but only because of the recent activity. But I think it's still women's basketball, men's basketball, number 1 and number 2, and then there's a big gap.
Yeah.
I don't know where you guys rank. Where do you guys rank the 4 major sports? We'll start with George.
Right now, I've got women's basketball 1, men's basketball 2, football 3, and then baseball 4. Baseball has really impressed me with what they've done lately in the portal. I'm still, however, a little bit nervous with the pitching staff heading into next year because of the injury history the last couple of years, specifically Austin Nye. You have Tommy John, and then you have brace surgery within just a couple years of that. That concerns me a little bit. So I still have football ahead of baseball.
Blake, how do you rank them?
Shea Ralph, number 1. I think she's posting up and dunking on Mark Byington, and I hope he hears this. You guys got to think they played one-on-one at some point. You got a free open gym all day. Your offices are right there. I think Shea Ralph's stealing those ankles and then hitting a crazy 3-pointer. Mark Byington too, dog. Yeah. It's tough with football and baseball because I got to see what they do with Curtis this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tie both of them for 3. They're 3A and 3B because I got to see what we are with football this year. Because baseball, we know the product's going to be a winning season at the very least. Like that's like bottom of the barrel. We're going to be fine, but I got to see. So that's where I'm at.
I agree with Blake's take fully. And then number 2 from Thank You Kumar was, how is Boston George handling the talk radio fame? It's going to his head. I'll tell you that.
It is.
How are you handling it, George?
Well, I still wake up in the morning and I still have my status as a professional ass wiper. So it really does not change my life too much.
And then there's another question for Boston George specifically, but I'll also ask Blake. George, what is your Hardee's order?
Ooh, that's a good question. So because I live in Boston, I have never been to Hardee's. However, I do have an order. So if we're talking breakfast, going bacon, egg, and cheese, hold the chi. Got to watch my physique over here. And then
Bacon and egg.
Yeah, bacon and egg. And then for lunch and dinner, going double cheeseburger. If you can't make that well, you shouldn't be making fast food in the first place.
Blake, do you have a Hardee's breakfast order?
Yep, I got them both. So breakfast order, I'm a breakfast burrito guy. I enjoy those. A well-made breakfast burrito is untouched. Get a little salsa going, a little spice of life in the morning. Like lunch, dinner meal, going Frisco melt. I like the Frisco melt.
Okay.
Yeah,
man after my
a
own
low-key sleeper at the Steak and Shake around here. The little Frisco melt, mix it up. Because you can get a double bacon cheeseburger anywhere. Somewhere makes a pretty good Frisco melt.
This is
You know what Hardee's is actually very underrated? Chicken tenders.
So this is where thing.
Okay. See, now
We're getting hurtful.
This is
You get a little sippy cup with your chicken nuggets.
Yeah. Okay.
chicken
All right.
tenders?
You wouldn't say that to my face, would you?
He's like, let me get the toy with the meal.
Yeah. Maybe I
Go
do.
down-
Maybe I
Go
do.
down the slide and scare all the kids.
I would not do that. You don't say that to my face whenever I see you in a couple weeks.
All right.
Things get misconstrued sometimes in the Dore Report on social media. I am a Hardee's. I have been to Hardee's. I'm a fan of Hardee's, just not the breakfast. That's it. I haven't got a recent review. Trevor, you did go to Hardee's.
Mid as hell.
And Trevor gave it a single word review. Mid. Next up from JDL Cav. Do you prefer one set of googly eyes for news you can't share? Or do you prefer two? When there are two pieces of news I can't share, I prefer two. When there's one piece of news I can't share, I prefer one.
See, I'm a little more reckless. Depending on the news, it could be one piece of news, but if it's big news, I might drop 7 Googles. You know what I'm saying? But if it's multiple, I don't know. It might only be 2. I don't know. It might only be 1. I don't know.
Next up from Soggy_Biscuit. Become a regular here. Love that. Soggy_Biscuit says, I'm currently watching AJ Hoggard attempt to play basketball against the Nuggets as I type this. It got me thinking, how good could Vanderbilt be at getting players to the NBA? I did a little research, and Mark Byington has coached a total of 27 different players since he's arrived at Vandy. He's gotten 7 players to at least the summer league level. Currently, CMB has around a 25% success rate to get guys to the NBA. Do you think it's possible to start a large NBA pipeline at Vandy? And if so, what needs to go right this year to make that a reality?
I mean, Vandy's always got dudes to the league. So I don't know if – I mean,
that hasn't really been a Vandy.
That's never been an issue, I don't think.
Yeah, that even during the time of Stackhouse wasn't really a problem.
You got Pippen and all those guys.
Yeah, so even on teams that had really struggled, I mean, Saban Lee made it, and he had a time with the Pistons.
Yeah.
And Scottie Pippen Jr. did as well. So I think it's right there. If Vanderbilt can get the talent, I mean, you have the eyes on them, and then Garland is definitely a proponent of the program. So
yeah.
And then there's a question specifically for George and one specifically for Blake. Question for George first. If you could implement one new law in the NCAA to improve sports as a whole, what would it be? Could be regarding eligibility, NIL, the transfer portal, or anything else you can think of.
That's such an interesting question. I think what I would implement would be some sort of independent review board looking at all of the eligibility decisions and looking at whether the NCAA followed its own rules and applied them consistently. And this independent review board would have the ability to reverse a NCAA decision that they thought violated either one or both of those principles. I think that some sort of mechanism like that would not only hold the NCAA accountable, but it could avoid future lawsuits. I know that they do maybe not something exactly like that, but there are some independent review boards in the medical world, and that was the most creative idea that I could think of.
Next up for Blake. What has to happen to get Blake to jump through a folding table at lot 2? Different style of question.
I was like, George is getting like really thought-provoking, serious questions. Mine's about jumping through a table, but I'll entertain it. I would need to see Will hold a keg stand for. Let's go 30 seconds.
Brother, you're going through that table.
You're going through that table, brother.
I don't think you can do it. I think age has gotten the best of you.
It's been many moons.
I've seen it.
For 30 seconds? All right.
I did my first keg stand at lock 2.
Yeah. Blake, we will have to record a video possibly. I don't know when we will have the opportunity. Cannot say that publicly on the podcast, but there will be an opportunity at some point. There is also an additional question we've already answered. A lot of questions surrounding this particularly. Soggy Biscuit wanted to know Blake's Hardy's order. So we've answered that. There are more questions about that same thing. Hardy's really on the mind. This is why Hardy should sponsor us. If any company is wondering why, dude, they should sponsor TDR. All we did was mention Hardy's. Look what's going on.
Could you imagine if I did one of those old school risque Hardy's? You just barbecue sauce on my chest.
I'll skip ahead a little bit, and then we'll circle back.
You like that, Blake?
Yeah, Blake's giggling.
Yeah, you like that, don't you?
But this is why I'm skipping ahead, and then we will circle back. World's Strongest Vandy fan says, can Blake and Trevor kiss around a Hardy's sausage biscuit?
Oh.
What's around mean? Like what's around a biscuit? Like
we eat the biscuit together.
You and Trevor.
You take one and I take the other.
Lady and the Tramp style.
Yeah.
Like in the Tramp.
I'll be the lady if you want, dude. What about if we did it with a Hardy's breakfast burrito instead?
Oh.
That'd make more sense. The crumbs wouldn't get everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's say Hardy's breakfast burrito. What say you? I take one and you take the other?
No.
Would you do it for a Vandy national title in football?
He knows he wouldn't.
I got to ask my wife on that one.
Nope.
This is a now or never. The national title is being offered now.
And whenever we're done on both ends, we have to kiss.
Is it like a quick like haha, or are you really getting into it?
I don't know, dude. Depends on how I'm feeling.
All right, I would start it, but if you look crazy, like if I looked in your eyes and it looked insane, I have to get on like a chair. No, you'd have to get on a chair to get.
Okay, yes, assault.
I have to pick your tiny ass up.
Oh, dude, I could manhandle you. And my girth and tonnage right now, dude.
Dude, those little Converse shoes you have would be off the floor. There'd be a shadow.
Okay, I only wear those to lift, you bum. I'm a New Balance man.
To circle back to get right to the point here, I would look at it, and if Trevor looked crazy, like if he had this crazy look in his eye, probably not.
What if I had the type of look I had that I've had throughout this podcast? What about that? To where we're just like kind of eyeballing each other. We're playing eye tag.
I see. That's it. That's exactly it. You can't have that. Can't.
What? Okay. Bullshit.
Another question for Blake next from the Uncommon Dore. Is Blake coming to any games this year or what?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Are you? What games?
Ooh.
I'm not telling you. You're going to try to make out with me.
You're going to come to a lot too, like regardless. So.
Yeah, but like there would be no breakfast burritos at this or biscuits or Hardee's, because I guess that's your kink is just some greasy breakfast food that makes you sweet on me. And you already have my jersey. You played Road to Glory with me. Like the signs are there that you're gonna make a move if it's there to make.
How does it make you feel to know that I am your I've always supported you, even whenever I didn't know you personally? Like, how does it feel to know that whenever I was like 13 years old, dude, I would have died for Blake Fromang? You have no idea who I was. He's killing double cheeseburgers with jelks and googs.
Yeah. The late night Wendy's double cheese, baby.
While y'all were in the Wendy's drive-thru, I was in bed thinking about how much I loved you guys.
Can we get the next question, Will?
Next up, from Co Jones, and it's a baseball question.
Oh, damn
This is
it.
the last week we said we were going to allow this.
Okay. That's right. That's right.
And then I need to run to the restroom, so you got to answer this one, Trevor.
Okay.
And George and Blake. Which freshman do you see making an immediate impact for the Vandy boys?
Jared Curtis.
And how much returning guys' playing time will be in jeopardy with such a strong freshman class?
I think very little in terms of like the established guys. I think very little. I think you're going to have a lot of guys that are going to redshirt and that are going to take this year as a developmental year. Of course, there's going to be some freshmen that come in and contribute instantly, but I think that's probably going to be more in the bullpen. I think you're going to see a lot of freshman guys in the bullpen those first few midweek games. Maybe some of them will develop into like weekend bullpen guys, but I think you're going to see the bulk of them in the bullpen during the midweek.
I really like Contreras as far as the freshmen go. I watched that clip over and over of him facing Aaron Judge in the World Baseball Classic, and that just impressed the hell out of me, being a 17-year-old kid and really just going after one of the best hitters in baseball with no fear. I agree, Trevor, that in terms of the established guys, I don't think it's going to affect them that much, but I think you're going to see a lot of these impactful freshmen coming out of the bullpen being midweek guys and potentially, depending on injuries or bad performance, nipping at the heels in the weekend rotation.
Yeah. Blake, what impresses you most about Contreras' game?
How many Diet Cokes have you had today?
Oh, dude.
How many are you taking down every day?
I'm funding his addiction too. I just keep the Diet Cokes loaded.
This is not a joke. I probably owe Will like $300 because of the amount of Diet Cokes I drink.
Like, what's an average week look like?
You want me to be like honest to God right now?
No, I want you to lie to me. Yeah, tell the truth.
Okay, I might go through like 30 to 40 Diet Cokes a week.
Jesus Christ.
It's bad. It's real. Dude, it'll be like 1 a.m. and I'll be like, I want a Diet Coke so bad. I'll just drive to McDonald's and get a Diet Coke. It's bad.
He's addicted, ladies and gentlemen. There is a second part to this question from K.O. Jones. Says, football. Any guys that may be underrated that y'all would like to see break out this fall?
I'll give you one. Austin Howard at linebacker. I can see Austin Howard having a breakout season.
I am going to save the guys that I'm thinking of until I actually see them in fall camp. I'll know after my first week if I'm off my rocker or not on some of these. Austin Howard's one that I do agree with.
Can I give you another one? I'll go Carson Lawrence.
I would say a very key contributor. I agree with that one. A very key contributor that's going to be key to how this secondary looks that nobody's really talking about is Kobe Sellers. The transfer from Texas A&M. Young guy. They've invested heavily in him. He needs to perform well. I just haven't seen a lot of people talking about this very key former 4-star transfer on the position group that was the weakest for Vanderbilt last year. It was still the secondary, and specifically in pass coverage. And Kobe Sellers, I think, is going to be kind of the key to that group improving or not. I know they have Jordan Matthews. I know they have Martell Height. There are other guys in that room that are more experienced, Jalen Lackey, but Kobe Sellers is a guy they're expecting to contribute. So that's maybe one guy I'll point out to break out.
I like that.
I got one on offense, one on defense. Bryson Coleman, I think, at receiver, switching from tight end to receiver. I think that really favors him with his size and speed. When he's healthy, he can fly, and he's got some pretty good hands as well. On defense, I think Bryce Cowan could really eat this year. I think especially with some of these additions that they've made to the front seven, I think that is going to help create some one-on-ones for somebody like him. And you're going to see some more plays like that play against Alabama that ended up getting called back, but could have been a huge, momentum changing play had, it been just a matter of inches.
I like that answer a lot, George.
Let's go on offense. Micah DeBose. I think he's primed. I watched his tape. I mean, the guy just is a road grader. I'm excited to see what he gets done. Who do we have at defensive tackle? It's Seabrooks and someone else?
Seabrooks, Wataha, Talon Carter.
You know what? I don't think he's an under the radar guy. Let's have a Wataha season. Let's put him.
If he can just stay healthy.
If he can stay healthy, I think that's actually a really, really good pick.
Because I know he's going and attending SEC media days, but he's been a guy that Vanderbilt fans are very aware of year after year. And he's intimidating off the bus, but he just hasn't been able to stay healthy and stay on the field. I actually like that.
I think both of y'all's are like excellent picks.
And then I don't think it's a breakout guy. Another guy I want to mention that's just not being talked about a lot is a guy they got out of the portal. Blake already mentioned Micah DeBose, but Lyndon Cooper from Pittsburgh. That was a huge get at center, and he is going to be a fan favorite.
He's fun to watch.
He's a dog.
He's fun to watch.
Last question from K.O. Jones. He says, how long do you think Tim Beck will keep the training wheels on Jared Curtis? Number one, Jared Curtis has to officially win the job, but I think the training wheels will be on Jared Curtis pretty heavily, even if he if he wins the job.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's going to be frustrating how much the training wheels are on Jared Curtis. We'll see. Next up. Unless you guys want to answer that one.
I feel like calling right now. I'm like that pregnant pause of.
What do you think about Jared Curtis, Blake?
Is that the question from the board? What do I think about him?
No, the exact question I read before. How long do you think Tim Beck will keep the training wheels on for Jared Curtis, Blake?
Week 1 and 2, we're not going to run anything crazy anyways. You try to keep all the tricks in the bag, because you don't want to show everything on tape that you're going to do. So I don't think we're going to look much different than weeks 1 and 2 last year in terms of how sophisticated we get. The real question is what happens after that. Clearly not to the level of what we were running with Diego Pavia, once we got into SEC play. But I don't think it'll be like you can't be that vanilla. Tim Beck has shown us that he is an ambitious guy and he'll throw some crazy stuff in there. I just if it's Berlowitz, he's going to run a lot more stuff with. Curtis, he's going to run less stuff with. But what he's going to do probably to make up for it is put in 3 to 4 wrinkle plays we haven't seen yet every game. Instead of putting in 10 different plays and formations, he'll throw in a couple haymakers and unsuspected stuff. So I wouldn't look for fireworks week 1 and week 2. In terms of play calling, he'll keep the training wheels on him. And I keep saying this, but if I'm Tim Beck, you have got to, against Austin Peay in Delaware, show that your quarterback can throw the ball. You have to do it. If you don't, when we get into SEC play, they're going to load the box up where we're going to need to depend on the run game. If they're not scared of us throwing the ball, our run game is going to get shut down. And there's a playbook on how to do that year 1 Tim Beck later on in the season. And that's my biggest fear. He cannot keep the training wheels on to the point we can't show we can throw the ball.
Wholeheartedly agree. George?
Yeah, I agree with what Blake just said. I think that the training wheels are going to be on. That said, I think because of some physical tools that Curtis has with his arm and his mobility, I think that some exciting plays are going to be there for him in the event that some plays break down. But he's not going to have the green light that Pavia had to check in and out of stuff and run a bunch of exotic things like they were last year.
Got about 12 more questions here. Like those answers. Next up from Denver Dore. It's officially the dog days this summer. Time to rewatch games. Time to rewatch Vanderbilt games from the last year to scratch the itch over the next 5 weeks. Having said that, how would you rank the below games in terms of watchability? Number 1, Vandy Boys win over Tennessee baseball 6-5 in the 16th inning walk-off. Number 2, Vanderbilt football's comeback win over Auburn 45-38 in overtime. Number 3, Vanderbilt basketball's win over Tennessee 86-82 in the season finale. Number 4, Vanderbilt football's thrashing over Tennessee 45-24 in the season finale. And number 5, Vanderbilt basketball's win over Florida in the SEC tournament 91-74. I'm going to rank mine quickly because I have them in front of me. I'm going number 1 is Vanderbilt's thrashing of Tennessee 45-24 inside of Neyland.
That's my number 1.
That's my number
2,
1.
Yeah,
That's my
same
number
here.
1 as well.
Okay, we're all in agreement. That's number 1.
Mhm.
My number 2, this is only because it's a rewatch, because I know the outcome. During the watch, not the case at all. Vanderbilt's comeback win over Auburn in overtime,
Okay.
but only because it's a rewatch.
See, mine's going to be the Vanderbilt basketball finale over Tennessee.
I'm going Vandy baseball over Tennessee.
George?
Wait, is that the walk-off? All of them were walk-offs. Which one was it?
The 16-inning game.
Is that the one where he dropped a bomb and ended
Yeah.
it on a home run?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's number 2. That was a banger.
I think I've got to go that comeback win versus Auburn. I was at that game, and that was one of the most incredible quarterbacking displays I've ever seen by Diego Pavia in the second half. That defense that was riddled with athletes and it held some good teams like Georgia to minimal points could not stop him, and it was incredible to watch.
Yeah, in the moment, that's definitely number 5. Now that I know Vanderbilt wins it in overtime, it moves up to number 2 for me. Number 3, I'm going to have to agree with you, Trevor. It's the Vanderbilt win over Tennessee in the season finale in basketball.
My number 3 is the SEC tournament win versus Florida.
Blake?
3 is wherever we beat Tennessee again. 1, 2, and 3 are beating Tennessee for me because I'm a real fan.
There we go. George?
I got to go that win against Florida, especially with how dominant Florida had played coming into that game, and just watching Byington's squad just go off and just dominate a very physical team with only one real functional veteran big in Washington. That was impressive.
My number 4, and this is all because baseball has no rewatchability for me. Not because of how exciting that was in the moment. Number 4 is going to be the win over Florida in the SEC tournament, which means number 5 for me is the walk-off win against Tennessee. But in reality, if you're just talking about how awesome that one clip was on the walk-off home run, that's probably number 2, right behind the win over Tennessee and Neyland.
My number 4 is going to be the walk-off against Tennessee, and then my number 5 is going to be the Auburn comeback, because that, like, I can't watch without getting sick, even though I know the outcome.
Blake?
George? I'd go 4 Florida game, 5 us beating Auburn, because that just wasn't fun.
I got to go number 4, beating Tennessee again in basketball, especially with how that disappointing loss was to them earlier this season. And then number 5, the walk-off home run. This baseball season just drove me mad. Even though that was very exciting, it was still just a frustrating season. I was angry just watching the team and seeing how they did. So that's number 5 for me.
Blake, did it hurt watching Vanderbilt beat your favorite team, the Florida Gators?
Next question, Will.
Next question. Matt Colleran. With Nesmith reclassifying, it almost seems like we might have too many mouths to feed for the number of minutes available. Obviously, it can change with injuries or someone not living up to expectations, but most teams only go 8 to 10 deep. Who do you see making the cut for significant minutes? Great question. I mean, I think you're going to see a lot more heavy rotations than you've seen in the past for Byington, because he actually has a deep roster. I think it's going to be a battle for some of these freshmen who's going to see the court, like Mbagko and Nesmith are going to battle. Ant Brown, will see how he develops. But the main guys that are going to get minutes, obviously Tyler Tanner's going to play still 35 minutes a game. But I think you're going to see him play less minutes throughout the year just because of the depth of this team. When they get into crunch time is a whole different scenario. A guy that was a heavy contributor last year that he's going to be battling with these other guys, I'll see how he fits in, is Chandler Bing. And I love Chandler Bing's game. But he's going to be a really less skilled offensive option than some of these other freshmen that are coming in, playing a relatively similar game, but he's a way better defender, way better rebounder. how this is going to work out, I kind of agree with the thing of like there are a lot of mouths to feed with minutes, but that's a good problem to have.
I think mine's T.O. Barrett.
Really?
I think you'll see him a lot in non-con. I think as you get into the nitty-gritty, I think you're going to see the minutes decrease.
Somebody has to see the minutes decrease. Any thoughts, Blake, George?
Yeah, I think T.O. Barrett could be the odd man out potentially. I like Ant Brown's game. I'm just not sure with the bulk that he has right now how he'll fare in SEC play against some pretty big physical guards. I think right now some guys like Tanner and Glass are just more physically developed than he is. And I think you're going to see SWA getting a ton of minutes at the 3. Just with his versatility and athleticism, I think he's going to be your starting 3 or your starting 4, depending if they want to go a little bit smaller.
I mean, that's the fun part about non-con is we get to see the cream rise to the top and see who's the guys and who's not. So I don't really have an opinion yet. We'll wait till basketball season starts and see where it shakes out from there.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a much larger rotation than Vanderbilt fans are used to at the start of the season. I think you're going to be seeing legitimately 10 to 12 guys playing decent minutes beginning of the year, and then that's going to tighten up. And then we'll know after we see them perform, like Blake said. But Trevor, I'll let you answer this next question specifically. VandyFan95, in honor of the release of the Odyssey, you must recruit one Greek god/goddess to guide the Commodores this season. Which deity do you select and why? Examples: Athena, goddess of strategy and wisdom for game day; Big Daddy Zeus to strike fear into our opponents; Poseidon, god of the sea, for the nautical-themed Commodore's mascot. I'm going to mispronounce this. The god of wine to bless the libations in Lot 2.
Dionysus?
Yes.
Yes. This is actually easy. It's going to be the god of victory, Nike.
Boom.
I mean,
easy money. They thought they were going to trip you up with that question.
It's Nike. It's the god of victory. We'll go undefeated.
Next up, more specific questions for the fellas from 615 Dore. Trevor, please tell the people what your Hardee's order was last week and why it was so good.
What's funny?
We can't escape Hardee's, man. We're fucking stuck.
This is going to become a reoccurring bit on TDR's Hardee's. I had a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. It was dry. It was lukewarm. The freaking biscuit was crumbly. The egg was dirty and nasty. It all sucked.
Mid. Then they're asking the same question. They really want to know Blake and George's Hardee's breakfast orders. Next up from GLH4VU. Of the 4 of you lovely gentlemen, who can drink the most beer?
We talking IPAs or light beer? What?
Good question, George. That's the good lawyer question. Let's just go beer in general. We'll include IPAs. I think it might be Will. You don't think so? You're a hard liquor guy. I'm a beer guy. I'm not a hard liquor guy.
At tailgates, I am a beer guy, but I don't think it's me. I think it's probably you or Blake, if I had to guess.
How many can you put down? How many can you put down?
Me conservatively on a tailgate day, I don't want to say it.
What kickoff? Are we a 6 p.m. kickoff?
Oh my God! Just pick any time. Just pick a time.
Okay.
Well, what's your best performance?
It's not your podcast. I'll go 20.
I'm typically normal. Well, what did he say?
He said bullshit to me saying 20. For starting at 7 a.m. with a 6 p.m. kick?
I would say a normal tailgate for me is between 10 and 15 beers if it's like a 6 p.m. kick. But I'm starting at 7 a.m.
All right. Double whatever Trevor said. That's what I'm doing.
Blake's winning.
When was the last time you had a beer?
Next question.
There's no way you could have beer.
All right. I'm putting myself for the winner there. Next up, JDore79. Suppose you get an email from the College Football Hall of Fame stating that a former Commodore is to be inducted as the 2 highest quality, premium, most reputable voices covering Vanderbilt. they'd like you to attend. They offer to pay for flights and meals, put you up in a 5-star hotel, and provide VIP passes to the induction ceremony. Only catch. The player is Sarah Fuller.
Oh, I'm going.
Do you go?
Yeah, I'm going. Yes.
I'm attending in protest.
I'm going.
As long as they put something that she scored a point on the Tennessee
Vols,
Volunteers.
yeah. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah.
That has to be included specifically.
I'll never not support the Doors.
Yet another Dore lawyer. Dog Days question for Blake and George. What's a legal hill you'll die on that most attorneys in your own field disagree with? It's a tough question.
In my field, so I do like med mal, mostly nursing home stuff, all of that. I don't think this is a hill to die on. I don't know if there are many, but putting arbitration agreements in nursing home residency admission packets and making them sign it, and then they kill your mom or dad or grand or grandpa, and you're not allowed to go to court and get a jury to hear your case. I think that's the most evil thing in the world. And I wish those were completely rid of. I think it's unconscionable. I think it's evil. I think they're fine in normal contracts. Like if you're buying goods or selling goods or services, whatever. But when you're taking care of our most elderly people, that pisses me off. And that's me being serious for one part of this show. That actually really pisses me off.
I think I agree with that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Anything from you, George?
I don't know if this is necessarily hot take.
Why did you sound like that?
Are you okay, George?
Yeah, no.
You sound like you were in the middle of tears.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Are we doing something, George?
No.
Oh, God. That sounded way
No.
worse.
I would say with respect to Superior Court, there's this stupid rule called 9A where you have to follow this dumb checklist, and it's supposed to help narrow disputes and make things a little bit more formal so that the judges have less to look at. It ends up having the judges look at way more stuff, and it wastes a lot of people's time. I would get rid of that. A lot of attorneys are really old-fashioned and like it up in a place like Boston, but I absolutely hate it.
Perfect. We have, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4 more questions here. We're going to power through, fellas. We got this long, beefy episode of TDR.
Dude, 2013 Blake Fromang episode.
Is that another Diet Coke?
Yeah.
Holy shit. All right.
There's 0 calories. It's fine.
Your organs are calcified.
Dude, it's honest to God a miracle I haven't pissed out like 10 kidney stones.
Okay.
Trevor loves microplastics.
Dude. Whoa. The worm is eating my brain.
Next up from Colin Bryant. Hello, Blake. My second favorite glizzy gobbler, behind Will, of course. Care to elaborate on your obsession with hot dogs? Did this start after Trevor's failed challenge?
I'm going to ignore Colin just like you guys did. Next question. I'm just kidding. No, it's I was trying to keep the spirit of ignoring Colin alive.
He's going to be...
I know.
It's okay. He's a sweet boy.
Next up.
No, talk about your fascination with dogs.
You have a phallic fascination.
Yeah, a little Freud.
What was it? When I told you we'd go 10-2, and I said if we win 10 games, you said nah, and I was like, if we do, you have to eat a bunch of hot dogs.
That is not true. That is, you said if we win 10 games, you have to eat a bunch of hot dogs. And I said, hell yeah, out of like, I would do anything for the Doors to go 10-2. It wasn't, I didn't believe you. It was a celebration, admiration for the boys out on the field.
So I thought of like, what's like a fun punishment to do? And I was just like, Trevor's a beefy boy. I think it'd be fun to watch him eat as many hot dogs as possible. And with his ego, he's like, I'll eat infinity hot dogs. So I was like, all right, let's get like 100 hot dogs. And you're like, yeah, there needs to be ketchup. And I was like, all right, you can get ketchup. So then we won 10 games and he tried it and he's miserable. He's not texting me back during the day when I'm following up with him.
God forbid I took a nap.
No, he took a nap and he's like, I'm powering through. He's like at Hot Dog 8 talking about I'm on pace. And it's like, bro, you're absolutely not. So he crashed and burned in front of the whole world. And that was really a joy for me. And then I just was like, I've been messing with Trevor too much. So it's time to shift the focus to Will. So I wrote a legally binding thing in the questions where he wasn't under pressure, undue influence, or duress, and he agreed to eat a bunch of hot dogs before July 4th. So he failed. It's just a house of hot dog failures over there.
How many hot dogs do you eat in 24 hours?
Well, I win my bets, so I don't know. But you guys have just let everyone down. And then Colin, of course, there's like a photograph of him holding a hot dog at a baseball game. And I was like, holy shit, 3 for 3. So I'm like, all right, you're a hot dog bully too.
Peter Porker.
So,
And he said it was a pretzel. He lied.
no, he's eating hot dogs. And Colin,
He got caught in SEC Network 4K.
Hot dog all day. There is another question from Colin here, also to George and Blake. This is a good one. How would you rank these fictional lawyers from best to worst? Number 1, is it Elle Woods from Legally Blonde? Never actually
Worst.
seen Legally Blonde.
she's in last place.
Matt Murdock from Daredevil, Saul Goodman from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, Vincent Vinny Gambini from My Cousin Vinny, and Lieutenant Daniel Caffey from A Few Good Men. Never seen A Few Good Men.
Really?
Yeah,
it's a good
never seen
movie.
A Few Good Men. Never seen Legally Blonde.
Can I ask a question? How much of a bind am I in?
Homicide, attempted homicide.
Like they got me in 4K?
They got good evidence. I won't say full force.
They got a glove. They got a glove. And a beat up
I
Bronco.
may throw Saul Goodman at 1 because if you need someone to go in there and be a psycho and win and pull some, like he'd do the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit shit. Like he would think of that. I'd go him 1. Elle Woods is last place. So who are 2 and 3, or who are the other ones? My Cousin Vinny.
Matt Murdock from Daredevil.
He's pretty good. But not on the murder case. But he can hear people's heartbeats when they get stressed out. I'd put Matt Murdock too.
Okay.
Because if he was sensing something was going on. So I have My Cousin Vinny, and who else is left?
Lieutenant Daniel Caffey from A Few Good Men, which I have not seen.
All he does is scream. I'm going to put him at 4, and I'm going to go Vinny at 3. I think the magic was those magic grits. You got a Beanstalk, the guy who sold you the grit. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, fuck yeah. I'm going him.
Any disagreements, George?
I'd put Saul Goodman at 1. I actually like Caffey a little bit more than Blake does. I think that he's a pretty good lawyer, but that's a good point about Murdoch being able to hear the heartbeat. Elle Woods definitely overrated as an attorney. Great movie, but her technique as a lawyer is vastly overrated and wouldn't work in the courtroom.
I love how analytic George is. It's so awesome.
Next up, we got another for Blake and George. Popular fellas.
Yeah.
From Texas Dore 22. For Blake and George, from a fellow lawyer, I recently saw a LinkedIn post from the Dallas office of Aiken Gump, in which an entire practice group signed a Tennessee football as a send-off for a departing partner. Said practice group included several Vandy grads. Assuming you were in that situation and were asked to sign a piece of Tennessee memorabilia, what would you do? And why is the correct answer find a new firm?
So I'm in the firm and the person's leaving?
Yes, and you're being asked to sign a Tennessee Volunteers football as a retirement gift, just of everybody in the firm.
Who was our punter last year?
Nick Haber.
Yeah, he's an Aussie.
Yeah, Aussie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go full Aussie accent. I'm grabbing the Tennessee football that everyone signed. I'm punting that motherfucker so far they can't find it. And I'm gonna say, get the hell out of here. Don't write, don't call. Get the fuck out. I'm talking full Ari Gold scene from Entourage. I might paintball him. I might paintball him with black and gold paintballs and just say, like, get the absolute fuck out of here with this bullshit. And everyone who signed it, you're also dead to me. I might burn the building down. I'd take their 90 degrees. I'd go to the bathroom and wipe my ass with them and say, they're done. You're done. The shit stain on this is what you did. This is your shit stain.
Bada bing, bada boom. George, what would you do?
I'm going to go a little bit more creative than Blake. I would sign it on behalf of Diego Pavia, the quarterback who went into Knoxville and outgained the entire Tennessee offense. I don't care if you put me on a performance improvement plan, you fire me, you lay me off, doing that shit.
And the final question here, and this is a serious one from Chef Miller. Can Blake eat more hot dogs in 24 hours than Trevor can drink beers?
No fucking shot.
Blake, what do you think?
I think you're topping out at 8. And I think you're asking your wonderful, amazing girlfriend, rub my tongue, babe. My belly hurts.
Rub my tongue.
She probably rocks you to sleep. She gives you a little forehead kiss. I'd be at like 20 dogs just for the love of the game.
There's no.
And I don't need condiments like you. I go straight bread and dog.
Okay.
Straight bread
Well,
dog.
you wouldn't be going straight bread and dog on the dogs and bread that Miller was feeding me. I tell you that much. But
You're gluten free. You're afraid of the bread. No money.
No, dude, I'm drinking the beer. That's not nothing but gluten.
Scared of the bread. Gluten free.
Dude, I'm chugging the gluten.
What a final question.
That's not possible.
This has been a long and beefy episode of the Dore Report here. Blake and Trevor are fired up. Trevor's not going to sleep tonight. He's still going to be so fired up about this argument about hot dogs and beers.
Can I ask Blake one more question before we close out? This is the last thing I'll ask. Blake, who's been more influential in your development as a man and human being, me or Herb Hand?
Herb Hand. What are you talking about? You lost us the Temple game. James Franklin left and he whispered in my ear before he left, said, you know that little 13-year-old fucker? What's his name? Trevor? I said, little kid with the mustache and the mullet? And I said, yeah, it doesn't make sense at his age. He's like, I'm going to Penn State because I hate him. And I said, I got you, gang. And then we dapped up. I said, I'll see you around the bend.
It was all Trevor's fault. We always knew it.
All right, whatever. Fuck me, I guess.
Final thoughts here, fellas. George, Blake, we'll start with George. Any final thoughts on episode 376 before we officially close it out?
I got a couple. Fellas, we have made it through the dog days. Tomorrow, Clark Lee and the boys arrive at SEC Media Days, and then we descend into the lovely, lovely world that is football. In honor of the Odyssey, I have a deity that I think is going to encompass this upcoming athletic year for Vanderbilt sports, and that is Artemis, the goddess of the hunt. The boys are hungry. They're going to eat. Doors on top. Doors are coming, baby. I'm ready for it.
Let's ride. Blake, final thoughts?
So I'm probably going to be shadow banned for another year. So this is my last time to talk. Let me see here.
Take your time. Take your time.
It's good podcasting.
Yeah.
I'm looking up like lines from Silver Lining Playbook to give you. But you know what the problem is, Trevor? None of them are memorable because that movie stinks. Stank. Terrible. 360 dunked that movie in the trash. Go Birds. Nah, hell no. Get that out of here. Birds, trash. Silver Linings Playbook, trash. Cincinnati Reds never make a playoff again, trash. If I'm going to be shadow banned, I'm burning it down.
Burn it down, Blake.
Yeah, you
Trevor.
got that bully on your shirt. Who's the real bully? Let's go.
Trevor, final thoughts in response to Blake, and then we're closing it out.
I don't even know what to say, bro. I actually truly am at a loss for words.
Just stabbed right in the heart.
Yeah, dude. Hey, kids, never meet your hero. As this fucker's laughing as all that I've done, all that I have ever done for this man is support him and love him. And this is what he does to me. Guys, never meet your heroes.
And that's the lesson from episode
Never meet your
376.
heroes.
This might be TDRguments plus Never Meet Your Heroes. That might be the title of episode 376. For myself, Will Byram, my co-host Trevor Hewlin, and TDR's alleged attorneys, Blake Fromang and George Barclay, this has been episode 376 of the Dore Report.